Greetings! Today we're going to be continuing the tutorial series, but we're going to be watching a game. So I'll do probably similar to what I always do, honestly. But I am going to just try to be more of a critic on what's happening. I do remember we had to walk because the spawns put the teams on opposite teams on the same side. Excuse me, I'm having trouble with words right now. So in this we have myself. Let's slow that down for a second. We have myself in the top right as yellow. Top left we have Lord Chaos. Bottom left we have Setin, dark blue, Lord Chaos's tan, and bottom right with red we have Twilight. So you can see most of them, they have pretty similar build orders. Did just do that video on build orders, so you can kind of see like all our resources at the top. They all did like an energy storage to like winds and metal. You can see I did 2 wins and hit my mexes, and that was it. I am technically doing the worst on metal right now, but it's not that bad. LC only built 2 of the extractors, the 2 bigger ones I do believe. Not a bad choice. There's no real wrong choices until there are. I'm usually the one to make them. But you can see I've already have K-bots coming out, or constructors coming out. So I have a very, very small advantage. But I failed to like take the map into account. So this is shallow water. You have to either walk across the side here or go through shallow water to get to your enemy. And K-bots is probably one of the worst decisions to start on this map. See, Twilight went vehicles. Everybody went vehicles except me. I would have been better off with vehicles or even air. I think air would have been a pretty strong start, as it is pretty easy to defend here. Everything will move slow. You see this is on what, +6. The scouts, which are usually really fast. You know, this is normal speed. Like, they're not really going through the water. But if that's what, like, vehicles being fast, the fast vehicles, if that's how they move, I mean, K-bots was just the wrong decision. So these are things you do want to take into account when you're picking your starting facility. Don't be like me. You know, on a map like this, you definitely want faster, more mobile units to traverse these shallows, because I just can't get to places easy enough. You see, he's got quite a few things just coming up. We've got the scouts coming, and I can't even run. The exploiter is there. Like, I'm not in danger of dying. My base, at least, isn't in danger of being attacked too bad. But I did lose my constructor, so that was not like a great choice. K-bot's starting, and he's got lemmings sitting here in the center, which is going to make it pretty hard to do anything. He did send some lemmings up and got a metal extractor from LC. Probably pretty cost effective. Lemmings, I think, are like 30 metal. Yeah, they're 30 metal. Metal extractor is what, 70-ish? 75, so especially if that was 1 lemming. I think it was 2, but it's still pretty cost effective option there. I am pushing out here with my commander, trying to claim this side, which does help me, but ultimately it makes it a lot harder to defend and hold the center here. You see, I have some things, but K-bots are just so slow. And then there's some tricky things with the water. The AA missiles were dive bombing into the shallows there. See, it's a lot easier for LC to get his scouts through and hit stuff. He's getting, Setin is getting a beamer up, The beamer does have the ability to roll through like cliff edges. Once the weapon hits, it rolls. You'll see that showcased fairly shortly. Yeah, sorry, I'm not like I'm trying to like pay attention to things that are worth knowing. So if I don't watch somebody's base get destroyed, I do apologize. But you can see how that rolls through. So like the placement up here, it makes it hard to hit. And even if like he'll probably shoot me here. So beamers are kind of busted in certain spots. I'm trying to hit it, but I just couldn't get close enough. I managed to hit it once. But that's a great spot for beamer. I really think starting air would have been a much better choice. With the shallows here, it would have been fairly easy to defend. And I could have pushed my commander up the side like this still to get a hold and then just retreated once I had some basic defenses up. We do have Twilight over here. He's got an exploiter, which will keep me decently far away with my commander. And then the gat gun will ensure that I stay away. With that gat gun, I don't know how many hits it takes your commander down, but a gat gun is like the ultimate anti-commander rush weapon. It's probably just a few shots, 4 or 5. I got hit once. Okay, so I'm a little more than 4 or 5, but it's enough that you really don't want to charge it. We have Setin putting up some AA. I do have a Berserker, but you see how slow that is. Like, you know, I barely had a chance to go anywhere, and I couldn't really do anything. At this point, I should have just reclaimed my K-Bot lab and gone air or something. Or vehicles. Honestly, I should have reclaimed my K-Bot lab and went hovers. That would have been a like much better use of my metal, which I'm not even using, if you can see that. I have so much metal, so I'm really not doing anything because at this point K-Bots are just, they're not getting me anything. I should have pushed down here. Now he's got a blocker up, but had I brought like hammers and oppressors through before all this came up, like when I first saw the exploiter and the gat, I probably could have trashed that stuff and did an alright job of clearing this out, and I could have helped secure a way to push through here. Honestly, I've just been making really bad decisions lately in games. I do have a Nexus going up, but the advent of the blocker going up is kind of a bummer for me. It's hard to see like the Nexus health, but you can see it's eaten some damage there, which is kind of a bummer. I did want to come through and clear all this, but unfortunately the Nexus is even slower, so in the water. I just can't really get anywhere, and I think right here it died to a forest fire. Which is a shame. I either come over here, get shot by the blocker and the instigators, there's the exploiter, or I died to the forest fire. It was tragic. I should have unloaded. We've got Twilight getting a nano up, trying to get Dragon's Eyes up over here so he knows what he's dealing with, and he has line of sight for his blocker if I try to push anything. I see, he can see that. LC, I think we're both doing an air push at this point. LC's coming in. I think he does manage to nab this Geo, which is honestly pretty huge. Got the Metal Makers 2. Not as big of a win because he wouldn't have been able to run them very well without the Geo anyways, but we'll take what we can get, right? The fact that they were there in the blast radius of the Geo was great. Pretty sure he either laid a mine with his spoiler or self-destructed that exploiter to take out my ships, which was lucky for me because it got the rest of his stuff, and I'm able to just come in with some Banshees and get rid of that. So I cleared this. I really should have capitalized on this because he is pretty defenseless. So I could have made an air. I could have even just made an air transport and pushed stuff like just to bring stuff closer. You know what I mean? But I really should have been pushing the side instead of the center here. I was really worried about Setin. If you probably can see my radar. Maybe with LCs too. Okay, so we've got the same radar coverage here. I didn't know if Taft always had that. He has lemons on the side. But we knew Setin was in the center. And, you know, Twilight had some dots there too. So we really wanted to get rid of that advantage. There's a pretty nice push with his flashes here. But the shallows do make it hard to approach. I think we probably should have done more with air. If we had done more with air sooner, I think it would have been really good. Really good push. Some really good pushes. Because I know I do try transports later on. And I was able to come up here and clear quite a bit. We got the construction vehicle. We got the beamers that were guarding, so now we can roll through, and we got most of the metal here. Twilight is coming back because LC does have some hovers and some flashes back here, so... Or was it... I think that was... Okay, that was Setin with hovers, and those were the flashes that LC had coming through. So we did pretty much clear the center, save for that one metal extractor. I'm still walking through the water here. I don't know why. I really needed to come around and through the cliffside here because it's just so slow. By the time I get anywhere, it's too late. You can see the air is doing some pretty good things. We almost got that hover. Where's my cursor? We were so close. It's kind of a bummer. I wish some bombers would have been a great option to bring. Like, I'm focusing heavily on gunships. We both were doing gunships. If each of us had made like 1 or 2 bombers to bring in, I think that could have been amazing. Because now they're repairing it pretty decently. We're not good. But you see they're really not defended, and we've seen their base now. Seen this solar wall here. Twilight is getting an air plant up to help combat. I think he was building one around here when we came through. But I think maybe destroying the Geo helped that out and got rid of it. I do have these hammers. I probably have those on radar. Those, I don't. Okay. I'm glad I didn't have those tanks on radar. Because I didn't know I was so close to death right there. And I'm kind of getting picked apart by freedom fighters slowly. Trying to send those through the side here to make sure that he's not rebuilding. Keep that Geo down because we don't want him to have energy. Less energy he has, less metal he has. And now he's got to pull this over here to rebuild that Geo. His metal chip is going to get up anyways, but I'll take any little bit. LC does manage to come through with some gunships, wreck a lot more stuff. We're putting a lot of pressure on Twilight. He does have an HLLT and a SAM up in the middle of his base, surrounded by Dragon's Teeth. That will make things much harder to do anything. But he is back here getting microfusions, and Setin is as well. And I think at this point, I am loading up an air transport. I should have did this way sooner. Way sooner. We've got a push coming in from Setin and Twilight. I'm defended enough. I mean, I'm still getting the defenses up. They're close enough that I'm fairly safe from whatever they send. And LC does have decent enough defenses for small groups. Get some blade wings in. The blade wings help to paralyze. It's a paralyzing gunship, which is really nice. If they don't bring a lot of anti-air, it does tons of damage. Finally moved those hammers in. I'm surprised they didn't get taken out yet. But they will meet his commander. Just trying to get rid of some of the stuff behind the solar line there. But we do have our air transport coming in, which is being guarded by some freedom fighters in case we need other air, AA, things like that. And then we have blade wings to help paralyze defenses that we may come across. And the blade wings were pretty useless because they just ran into AA and died. I should have sent them to hit that stuff. We do get those micros from Setin. We will get those from Twilight, which pushes them down a bit. We did manage to get the vehicle plant, and we kind of sent Setin back to, I'm not going to say the Stone Age. Like, he's got decent metal. It's not a heavy metal map, so, you know, he's got 9.6 coming in. He's back up to 10. Twilight's down to 5. So, like, we're not doing bad right now. The blade wings, I should have beelined them. Like, as soon as I spotted this stuff, I should have beelined the blade wings to hit this stuff, and I probably could have taken out, well, his commander's there. I think that's why I went over there. But blade wings would have taken out the dragon's teeth, making those easier to deal with. Getting the micros made that pretty much worth it. If I could get up here and get that Geo, I think we'd be in a great position. That knocks Setin down to like 280 energy coming in, which I think would hurt him a lot. But he does have hovers out. He does have some planes. He doesn't have like the most metal to work with, but he's working it. You know, he's getting some fighters up. He's loaded up a bear with K-bots here, and I think he's got a couple hovers in there as well. Now, bears, you can't shoot out of bears, but bears themselves have a weapon, so for like light defenses like this, you can actually, well, the blocker will make it a little more difficult, but if you're just against like LLTs and defenders, things like that, the bear has quite a bit of armor. Like you see, it's rolling through all of that, and it's dropped down to maybe 80%. And it can just come in and shoot stuff up. He did have a beamer. I didn't catch that beamer, but he did manage to get the beamer and somewhat unload. He almost got the radical. He's very close to getting the radical. Ran into a heavier defense than he expected, though, I imagine. So let's take a look around real quick. So I'm going advanced K-bot, so I'm doubling down on my bad idea. K-bots have worked so well for me right now that I decided to go into tier 2. That's terrible. I should not have done that. LC is doing pretty great with energy here. Lots of advanced solars here. He's up to 1,000 energy. He's got his Geo 2. We've got Setin down here. He does have hovers, and he's also going advanced K-bots, which I feel like he should have doubled down on hovers. Maybe not. I mean, they do win this. They do end up winning this game. But I do feel like hovers, if he had put like a lot of resources into some hover pushes, he might be able to do something. But he probably wants to, like, it's been a while. It's been far beyond 30 minutes. So he probably wanted to do advanced resources. And while he was trying with the micros, those went up pretty easily. He's building them back in the corner here, trying to get some more resources coming in. But long term, it's not ideal. You need a lot of defenses, and I'm getting in fairly easy. Well, I was. I'm not anymore. Twilight also advanced K-bots. I don't know why we all decided advanced K-bots would be the best. At least with ARM, you do have Pelicans, but he has access to Pelicans in the hover lab. Anyways, you could do other things. There's scuttles. You can... I don't know. I don't feel like advanced K-bots is the way to go. I think all three of us made a very poor decision to go advanced K-bots. I do get mine up first, but I'm not really capitalizing on that much. You can see my This is like +9 speed. My construction K-bot, he's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. I should be grabbing all my metal spots. I need to grab these. Probably put some micros up in the corner. Come down and start grabbing these. I am doing some bomber things. I'm trying to clear out the middle metal here. And he does just keep rebuilding it. So I wouldn't say like this is a winning or a losing strategy. It's just slowing both of us down. The hope is that it's slowing him down more than me, but I don't really know if I achieved that. I'm at 18 metal, he's at 15, he's close enough. His advanced is about to go up. And I think Twilight's advanced is up, and he's given Setin a construction K-bot, so he's also getting mohos up now. Over here, we've got LC's got a little base here that Setin's picking apart with wombats. He did manage to get a pit bull or two up, and he hasn't started advance. I did give him a constructor, but he probably could have started advance a little earlier because we just weren't really going anywhere. I feel like a lot of us were making bad decisions this game, honestly. I'm still trying Nexus things because it worked so great the first time. It does have, like, Dominators in there, so, like, it's not the worst. I can kind of take out the center stuff was my hope, but I don't know how worth it really was. I guess it does work a little. We do manage to clear out the center quite a bit. And I'm just trying to scout down here, see what we're up against. Resource-wise, we're actually doing pretty decent resource-wise. Like, everyone's fairly equal. Setin is a little lower than everybody else because he doesn't have, I mean, he had the center metal. That was probably about half his income, honestly. But he is starting to get mohos up, which will help out a lot. And he doesn't have any of this side metal. He is starting to grab it, it looks like, though, now that he's cleared some of this stuff away. LC does manage to get that pit. And that was terrible. I wasn't paying enough attention. I was watching, but I didn't really see. See, I did a few of these nexus, and they kind of worked, but at the same time, I'm not certain it really got me. Especially, we've got these wombats. Yeah, like, toasted, man. Toasted. The wombats are an excellent counter to what I was trying to do with the nexus. So I kind of stopped because, I mean, I'm trying stuff. I'm building a scuttle. I'm trying anything I can think of, but I really just, K-bots was not the way to go. You can see we've got Fat Boys and Pom-Poms coming out from Setin here. That's a little bit better. Like, Fat Boys can be really mean. He can really use Fat Boys to push this side area here. There's nothing that can stop a Fat Boy over here, except air, and he has Ares to help with that. So Setin's putting himself in a pretty good position. We do have some skimmers coming up from LC to help against those wombats, and it was going real fast, but he did manage to chase them away. We've got some Ares and some sumos, it looks like, in this emissary. They're probably going to work on pushing the side here. Advanced air, probably one of the better choices. Like, advanced vehicles, not the worst. There's some things you can do with advanced vehicles. You can get amphibious vehicles that would move a lot faster. You can get some pretty good options from advanced vehicles, but advanced air, like, you ignore the shallows, which is like your biggest kind of choke, like you have a literal choke point on the side here, and then you do have choke points in the water, but what slows you down more is the literal water. Literally getting slow. He's building Behemoth. Getting a Behemoth up on this map is huge because things move so slow in the water, and it could probably fight it out of this area here. There's no gap. You need to get really creative to pass that Behemoth, especially if both of them did it. It would cover so much ground. I do want to hurry this along a little bit, though. Like, in terms of... I don't know. So Twilight is pushing up. He's very quick with that. He grabbed the sumo and put it back in the transport to try and move it forward just a little bit quicker without taking fire. Ultimately, LC did get him, though. The pit bull will help do wonders against that thing. Setin's trying Mavericks. Like, Mavericks are more glass cannon-like units. Zeus's are your heavier, like, they have heavier armor. They do tons of damage. They have small splash. Lightning weapons in general have small splash damage in the Twilight mod. Think of it as, like, electricity, like, shooting out and hitting other things. Zeus's are really heavy armor, though. Zippers are like your Pee-wee, kinda. They're your advanced Pee-wee. Zeus's would be like your advanced warrior, almost. Maybe warrior. Yeah, I think that would work. I'm trying to fly crawling bombs over his base because I'm out of ideas at this point. Like, if that's what I have to revert to like attack them, then I've probably picked the wrong tier 2, and I should probably start like advanced air right now, and like I should have started it. Get the K-bots up, just start grabbing resources, start advanced air, reclaim my tier 2 K-bot. That would have been the way to go. Even the tier 1 K-bot, like, I could have reclaimed that too. It's really not doing anything for me. I mean, K-bots in general didn't do... They did pretty much nothing. The only time they managed to do anything was when I got them in back here and attack stuff. But, that was with the assistance of an air transport. So I can't really say that was like K-bots, because I could have done that with vehicles too. I could have done that with enough gunships, maybe. Maybe not with like their air defense, but vehicles would have been just as effective, if not more. You've got this blocker just going crazy over here. Got some more airlifting stuff. I've got like commandos to try and paralyze stuff. I've got cans, and unfortunately he self-destructed that on me. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he self-destructed. When you self-destruct buildings in Twilight, more often than not, they will have a bigger explosion. So you can almost weaponize like your dead base in a sense. Some work way better than others. Like an energy storage, things that hold energy generally will be more explosive. Solar collectors aren't like that bad, but like a fusion, a geo, an energy storage, they blow up fairly large, especially if you self-destruct them. So if you're going to lose it anyways, you might as well try to self-destruct it to take some units out of it. You can see the Moho Exploder doing some pretty handy work. I do lose it, but it also took out everything. But at this point, we are falling behind in resources, it feels like. They're starting to take their sides back, which they didn't have most of the game. Twilight's not only taking it, but he's putting Moho exploiters up the side, which will make it even harder to retake. I do have a very weak defensive line over here, but it's enough to deter him. That was dumb of me. I flew right into death. If I had did crawling bombs, that was more commandos and like cans. If I had did crawling bombs there, that would have been great. In fact, I feel like I should have doubled down on that, because that's probably the way to go. That was probably the way to go. See, I don't have too much, but it's enough to deter him. Like, if he keeps pushing forward, he probably could have done enough. He definitely wouldn't have broken through, but he could have gotten rid of that LLT, maybe a solar or two, maybe. But ultimately, he's in a better position than I am. Like, he's got healthy amount of pyros here. He's got AKs. He's got storms. I've got 2 LLTs and 2 to 3 pulverizers that'll shoot at a time. the pyros come up here. The fire will spread through and actually start to destroy the defenses before the solars go down. So those will actually work nice. I am trying to get a Moho mine up here. I think it's an exploiter, but I can't say for sure. Trying nukes. I don't know if they have anti-nukes or not. I know by the time I fire that off, they definitely have anti-nukes. I don't know when they got them, though. Oh, they've got them up already. So, yeah. Setin did go advanced air, so that's good. He didn't build nukes, anti-nukes, but that's probably because Twilight did. I wonder when he got that up. That's a bummer. I was really hoping none of them had anti-nukes, and that was gonna be it. That means I should have gone a birth. I considered it. I feel like it would have been really hard to protect, though. Especially, I didn't know he had advanced air at this time, but at this point, I'm pretty sure we've lost. Overall, both LC and I have just made worse decisions, and that's what it really boils down to. The hovers from Setin did a lot of work. It helped free up the sides over here so they could expand and take back some of the metal. See, I did do a Moho exploiter thing, but Setin does come in with a spirit. And, I mean, that's pretty much the end of the game is once he starts utilizing this. So there's nothing I have to stop the spirit. Not if he uses it, like, efficiently. Oh, I thought he was going off. So spirits are unique. They're like stealth bombers, and they drop their missile beforehand. So if you listen carefully, there'll be a whistle when it drops. I didn't hear that. He did lose that spirit, thankfully, but he got. I still don't know how he knew where that was. He must have scouted. I don't see any markings though, but he did get their advanced air, which I'm pretty sure that's worth trading a spirit for, because now we don't have advanced air to do things that we really need to do. To easily bomb like this stuff out. I mean, the Mercury and the Flacker will make it hard, but he could probably get it. I don't know what he was going for there, but you see, it does have decent enough air coverage that those bombers really weren't even able to get close. And he's getting more up. And because see, he's got another spirit out. We do not have another advanced air platform up. So I'd say that was a good trade. Try to nuke them. They do have antis. And Setin's just going back to town with that spirit. There's that whistle. So you can see, like, it does immense damage. It got rid of everything that was over here. Almost killed my commander. And when you can use it efficiently by, like, what he's doing right now. It's just kind of, like, go in, go out of, like, your attack range a little bit. I don't remember what the reload is exactly. But I think by the time you fly away and come back, you can just keep dropping stuff. Whoops. And there's literally nothing I can do to stop it at this point. He's just cleared the entire plateau here of any defenses I had, which is allowing Twilight to push in. That was some pretty fine teamwork there. I think that was a really good play. But, like, I do have some SAMs. The Spirit probably would take damage. I don't know how much he took. So it was almost dead. So he's got to come back and repair it. But at this point, there's really nothing I can do. He's got all these brawlers and vamps, and he's got blades. There's nothing at this point. I don't have what it takes to stop advanced air. LC found the thunderstorm in the center. At this point, the game is over. I tried to approach it different. I feel like I just did these the same as I always did. He thinks there's a Geo there, I guess. It's been gone. He's probably waiting for an explosion. Didn't see it, so he just kept shooting. But what was I saying? I feel like I approached these in a very similar manner to what I usually do, but I was trying to be more educational, more informational about it. I had planned when I started it up, like, oh, I'll talk about, like, unit counters and stuff like that. That didn't happen, so I apologize. But, like, artillery, like, these hovers are a great counter to artillery because they can get in and up close quick, and artillery has a hard time hitting in front of them. But when you've got just way more metal to spend, it doesn't really matter. AKs, they're quicker in Twilight. AKs and Pee-wees, they move quicker. They're a little bit lighter though, so you really want something with good area of effect. Artillery is one of those. Roccos, Janus, Shell Shockers, even like Shodins, they don't have area of effect. It's a core vehicle, but they have good range, and they do decently enough with their DPS to keep things back. Like a big group like this, a Shodin would get taken out, but a Shodin can probably take out a decently sized group of like 10 or so. But yeah, this is it. Defenses. K-bots are not the best thing against defenses. The advantage K-bots have against defenses is that there are lots of them and swarm it. But if you just select everything and send it in, it's going to. What you really want to do is create a couple groups with K-bots and approach from different angles, so everything's not getting shot. You know, if I'm coming down like here, trying to get past a blocker, there's just going to be a zone where everything's getting damaged. But you say there's a blocker like this. Let's say there's like this blocker. If you can come from this angle, I know blue on blue is really easy to see. This angle and this angle, it can only shoot at one group at a time. So you're more likely to make it rather than just like charging in one big cloud of units. Vehicles, they're they're naturally better against defenses because they have more speed. They have more speed and armor per unit. So like K-bots are a lot cheaper in Twilight, so you can spread that metal out over a larger area, where vehicles, they have more armor. Generally more armor and firepower in like one unit. Planes. I'm going to say about planes. Tier 1 air. Bombers. I think bombers are a lot better than they were in like OTA. I can't remember exactly. I just know that like 2 bombers can take out a tier 1. And they drop more. They do more like carpet bombing, like they drop a wider array of bombs rather than like the single line, I think, that they do in OTA. So it's they cover a larger width of it. This was a problem. It wasn't going to save us anyways, but his Moho Exploiter, it's little bit of ground that's probably sticking up. Couldn't quite hit it. But I mean, that's all for now. I'm really trying to think of the best way. And as much as I want to like script things out, like build this perfect tutorial series, things like that, I feel like I learn better. I know it's not about me, but I feel like I learn stuff better when it's more organic. You know what I mean? Like, I could script this out and be like, okay, well, in order to counter 3 Pee-wees, you need 1 Rocco. It's like, how realistic is that, though? I mean, yes, you're going to see that kind of stuff in a game, but, like, I would rather just show the game and be like, yeah, you see how he's got a lot of K-bots? Well, the other person grabbed a Janus, which is a tier 1 arm rocket vehicle, and it has decent range and decent splash damage, decent AoE, so it naturally counters at least the weaker K-bots. Once you start getting into like warriors, berserkers, even Roccos and Storms, they're a little chunkier, you know, they have more armor. So while AoE still helps immensely in situations like that, the armor helps them combat that. And then, like, you know, there's little things like fleas, which are 6 metal, really cheap. You're just able to vastly spread your metal out. And they do have some pretty decent firepower per metal. They just die in one hit to everything. Your vehicles, honestly, a great way to counter vehicles is to mess with their pathing. So vehicles are great in open spaces. I'm pretty sure we covered this in one of the earlier episodes, but like wide open maps, vehicles excel because they can use their speed to their fullest, and their lack of maneuverability compared to K-bots isn't present as much. So like if there's a map with tons of trees, you know, vehicles will have to make a lot of turns. They'll never really get up to full speed easily, things like that. So what you can do is build like a forest of dragon's teeth. Little expensive, but only a little. I mean, they're 12 metal or something. But like in your front line, you build a forest of dragon's teeth before everything. Those vehicles are going to have to stop. And you just really mess with the game's pathing. And I don't do it enough. It's really nice. So you can really mess with unit pathing with dragon's teeth to kind of stretch your defense line out, the metal that you put into your defenses. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe we'll do more stuff like this and I'll just focus on specific things. I would like that. I think I would enjoy that. I get to watch replays, first of all. I don't have to like worry about getting the perfect footage. I'll just take a real game and try to focus on like the specific thing that I, you know, can break down. Wasn't very specific in this video. I do apologize, but hopefully we learned about something. But like we can look at some 1v1s or something and be like, okay, well this was stupid of me to do. I should have did this instead. This is why. You see that they went, planes, K-bots, vehicles, whatever. That's a good decision because of this. And you get kind of more organic, like it's gonna be more map specific things, but the entire game, I mean, it depends on like the map you play. So I do feel like looking at different situations will be a larger benefit overall. But I do digress. This is like a 47-minute video or so by now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.